Hello, my name is Ingrid Veras, and I'm a professor in the Natural Science Department. And I teach first year seminar for the natural sciences and also for the liberal arts, math, and science. With me today is Veronica Martinez. She's a student of mine that took first year seminar with me in the spring of 2019. So go ahead, Veronica, introduce yourself.
So hello everyone, my name is Veronica Martinez. I am an environmental science student and this is my last semester at LaGuardia Community College. Like Dr. Veras said, I met her during my first year seminar class in my first semester at LaGuardia. And since then, I've been working in research with Dr. Veras. So I'll turn it back to you.
All right, so I'm going to talk about the assignment. It's a scaffolded assignment that I have developed in my first year seminar course, both for the natural sciences first year seminar and for the liberal arts, math, and science first year seminar. So let me just give you a little introduction about what the first year seminar is. So the first year seminar is a required course for all new students, both in the natural science department and for the liberal arts, math, and science majors. The goal of the course is to help students transition to campus culture, develop a clear understanding of the learning process, and to also acquire the skills and dispositions essential to the studies and practices of science. So I'm going to go briefly over the assignment. So as I mentioned before, it's a scaffolded assignment that encompasses the whole semester. And I just wanted to say that I could have not developed this assignment without the help and assistance of the Center for Teaching and Learning seminars. Two seminars that really helped me develop this assignment are the Inquiry and Problem Solving Seminar and also the Global Learning Seminar. And I'm very grateful to them for their guidance and support as I continue to develop this assignment. So I often use a theme for my class. So the theme for my class is climate change. And I basically talk about climate change as relates to either air pollution or water pollution. The assignment itself, I'm just going to give you a brief introduction. So the assignment utilizes high impact practices such as collaborative assignment and project, community-based learning, evidence-based learning, and undergraduate research. So the scaffolded assignment encompasses the entire semester, as I mentioned before. The project starts with an overview of the scientific epistemology. So basically, to emphasize the scientific process, the students are given an assignment where they summarize a peer-reviewed scientific article, which focuses on environmental issues. Next, the students watch a documentary that serves as an introduction to air or water pollution issues. And it's following the documentary, the students participate in a service-based learning event. This helps the students connect worldwide water or air pollution issues to similar issues in their neighborhood. So often my students and I participate in two co-curricular events. The events are sponsored by the Experiential Learning and STEM Co-Curricular Learning Committee that are run by Hallie Potter Morgan, Charles Keller, Ian Alberts, and myself. And also with the Newtown Creek Alliance. So in the service-based learning community servants assignments, the student learned the importance of developing ways to protect their environment, the significance of preserving the ecosystem, and proper garbage disposal. By becoming involved in the community service, the students can apply what they learned in the classroom, develop their social skills, and realize their own self-worth. More importantly, the students learn how their contributions can benefit their community. So the next step in the scaffolded assignment is the introduction of the research project. So initially, I started utilizing a water quality field test for students to determine the water quality of the Newtown Creek. So in this assignment, the student tests and measure key aspects of water quality such as dissolved oxygen, pH, nitrogen, and the presence of gram-negative microorganisms. In the fall of 2017 semester, I introduced a new research project, noise and air pollution. This project involved the utilization of handheld air and noise pollution meters to collect data around LaGuardia Community College campus. Data on nitrogen dioxide, carbon dioxide, and ground level ozone are collected in this project. So I use this project interchangeably. One semester I would use the air pollution, and another semester I would use the water quality test. And the research project, the students develop a hypothesis, design experimental procedures, analyze experimental data, and communicate finding in the form of a scientific laboratory report. The research paper assignment helps students develop their written ability and inquiry and problem-solving competence. So the next part of the assignment is the presentation of the global oral presentation, in which the student discuss air or water pollution issues in a country other than the United States. Finally, the assignment culminates with an integrative digital story. As a whole, the scaffolding assignment is geared to help students develop their integrative, global, and inquiry and problem-solving competency, as well as their written, oral, and digital abilities. So the assignment helped the students enhance their critical thinking skills, social skills, and problem-solving skills. More importantly, I want my students at the end of my class to become citizen scientists and hopefully become advocates in their own community. So here I have Veronica Martinez, as I mentioned before, and she's going to talk about how this assignment helped shape her school career and sort of help her get into internship and research internship, and sort of helped her also in her future career as a student. Go ahead, Veronica.
Right, thank you, Dr. Veras. So as I mentioned before, I got my first year seminar class with Dr. Veras in spring of 2019. So one of the first activities that we did in the class was that Dr. Veras introduced the scientific method along with the concepts of water pollution in her class. Then we watched this documentary that served as an introduction to water quality and water quality issues around the world. This documentary was called Flow for Love of Water. Then after this, watching this documentary, the next step was to review a research paper. We reviewed a research paper that titled Bacterial Diversity Impacts as a Result of Combined Sewer Overflow in a Polluted Waterway. This served as a slight introduction to Newtown Creek and the water quality issues that affect it. So the next activities that we did were community service. We had a series of volunteer activities that were with the Newtown Creek Alliance. Among those were the Newtown Creek Field Day, the 8th Anna River Keeper Sweep, the Newtown Creek Living Dog Collection Event, and the Access Point Cleanup and Beautification Day. These activities allowed the students to get a better idea of the history of Newtown Creek. And we were able to not only see how polluted the creek was with our own eyes, but we were also able to aid in certain restoration efforts that the organization, the Newtown Creek Alliance, was working on. So as part of this community service, during one of these activities, we also collected water samples that will later serve as part, that we will later use in our project. So then, as I mentioned, we collected a water sample, and during one of our classes, we headed over to the community garden to kind of do a outdoor laboratory. And here we we perform different water quality testing, different water quality tests to get the values for the water quality parameters from the samples that we collected from Newtown Creek. So we measured ammonia, nitrogen levels, turbidity, dissolved oxygen, and fecal coliforms, along with other data, and that helped us know what the state of the water was from Newtown Creek from the data that we collected. So then the next assignment was do an oral presentation about a water quality parameter. My presentation was about pH and as a water quality parameter, and what meant, like, what does it mean when pH levels are high or low in the water. So this oral presentation helped us dive a little deeper into the different ways of measuring water quality. And the next assignment that kind of like was building up from the first activity that we did was to write a research paper at the end of towards the end of the semester about the water quality of Newtown Creek. So mine was my research paper was titled Water Quality Study of Newtown Creek, and this one presented a brief introduction of what was water quality, what is the history of pollution of Newtown Creek, along with the methodology that we use to collect the samples, and finally the results of the different water quality tests that we did on the samples. So at the end, the conclusion was about what this different parameters and different values mean about the water quality of Newtown Creek at the moment that we took the samples. So, and finally, this and our entire journey on our first year seminar class was to be kind of documented into the a digital story, which said like which had all the, a little bit about ourselves and how was our journey during the first year seminar class. So the importance of all these scaffolded assignments is that not only were we talking about water quality during the class, and we were able to actually go to this affected water body and see with our own eyes what the state of it was, learn about its history, aid in its restoration efforts. So not only we were getting information from our lectures and from the things that we did in the class, we were also doing kind of field activities. So those were very important because it helped me and other students put into perspective the kind of project and study that we were doing about water quality. And it also, in my case, helped me realize all this, like this different issues with water and urban environmental justice. So these assignments were very, very helpful to gain a deeper understanding of water quality and what does it mean for us in the urban environment. So after, like during my first year seminar class, this is where I fell in love with doing research. I thought that before I hadn't had any experiences with research, especially I couldn't even participate in research, but during Dr. Veras' class, I was able to do so with these assignments. And later, when she introduced the opportunity to do research as an extracurricular activity with the CUNY Research Scholars Program, she mentioned that she was also doing another project. Her project was about water quality as well. So I thought, well, I have been already studying a little bit about water quality, and we've been working on this project for the class. So I really liked it. So why not continue this as an extracurricular research program? So I told Dr. Veras that I was interested, and I got accepted into the CRSP program. So I started doing research about the water quality of Newton Creek and how it affects its microbiome with her from the fall of 2019. And since then, I have been working with Dr. Veras first as part of the CRSP program, and now as part of the NIH Bridges program. Through her, I was also able to know my other mentors, Joby Jacob and Dr. Olga Calderon. So basically, NSF was the class that introduced me to a world of like research and urban sustainability and the issues within my community. So as part of like all these activities, at the end, they opened like multiple doors. One of those was that I presented part of the research that we were doing on the 2020 CRSP Symposium, and I was the winning feature speaker here. And then I was able to apply as well to the for the World Water Scholarship. And I documented all the research that we have been done together. And I was elected as one of the 2021 Gold Water Scholars. So this class was basically the starting point of my research journey at LaGuardia, and hopefully for the rest of my education.
Right. Thank you so much, Veronica. So I'm glad to see how this sort of kind of assignment impact you in your development, your STEM identity, and it's sort of solidifying, right, that you are interested in the environment. So what is the major that you want to pursue after LaGuardia?
Right. So, well, like you said, I've always been interested in nature and the environment. So my major at LaGuardia is environmental science, but after I graduate, I would like to either pursue an environmental biology degree or a conservation biology degree. So I currently got accepted into for the conservation biology program at CUNY SF. And also for I applied to the environmental biology program at Columbia, the Columbia School of General Studies. So either of these degrees, I think, will get me to where I want to be, which is I want to be a conservation biologist, but also an environmental activist. Not only I want to help preserve and aid the efforts of conserving the parts of our ecosystems that are being affected by pollution or environmental issues, but I also want to be an environmental activist in my community and keep working towards achieving environmental justice, because we often have a concept that the environment or nature is what it's out there, I don't know, in the forest or in the countryside. But I think that people need to realize that the environment and nature is everything, even within cities, even if it doesn't look like it, because every single thing that we do in the cities and the pollution that comes from us will end up somewhere either in the ocean, or it will affect our atmosphere. So not only I want to do this as part of my my career, but I also want to incorporate this drive of like helping better our environment and fight against the environmental issues as part of my life. So that's why I want to be not only a scientist, but also an activist.
Right, thank you so much. I also talked about the fact that in my assignment, you read a peer review article, you summarized a peer review article, and also you learned how to, we went over how to learn how to make graphs and interpret graphs, right? How did this sort of things that you learned in my class helped you in other courses? Right.
So, well, like I mentioned that it was my first my introduction to research. So part of gaining all these skills, like knowing how to collect data, how to run certain like tests, how to interpret data and make it into make all the data into a graph that can be understood not only by me but by other people that might be seeing our paper, really helped like the honing the skills, like really helped me along the way, because later, like I mentioned, we started doing research and I had to present as at the CRSP conference. I also presented at the undergraduate student research day of at LaGuardia. So knowing how to compile this data and put it into a paper or a poster, and learning how to like present my research to people that might not be in the same scientific field in a way that they can understand it, has been really important to like I mean not only like help me gain like win this competition, but also because I think that the research that we're doing is very important because it pertains all of like our community. So I like it has helped me be able to explain this to people that might be not only like not scientists or but like the general public, so that they can understand what are the issues that are affecting their community, and hopefully like be more interested in it. So aside from that, it helped me in all my other classes, like in my bio class and chemistry class. Whenever I had to also grad a research paper towards the end of the semester, I already had the skills that we learned in first year seminar class. So I think that really gave me an advantage, because I already knew how to do these things from our first year seminar class. So it wasn't really difficult for me to like apply this knowledge of like data collecting and processing into other classes. So yeah, it's been really helpful, like, and I think will continue to be helpful for the rest of my career.
Right, so I sort of help you integrate your learning in other courses.
Exactly.
That's really refreshing.
Yeah, exactly, because the knowledge that we gained in the first year seminar class was also we were also able to apply. Like we were talking about water quality, pH. So these are certain things that we see in chemistry, and then in bio, when we start talking about bacteria, different organisms, or even in my capstone course, in my environmental science course, we also did another project that was about how the precipitation affects the makes the fecal coliform or an enterobacterial levels fluctuate in Newton Creek. So all this data that I have been, all this knowledge that I have been gaining from my first year seminar class, I was able to integrate. So I already had like, oh, I already know what's going on with Newton Creek. So now I can, like, I mean, from that point of reference, I can now like continue building this other assignment that I have to do. So through it, like it has helped me like create connections between what I learned in first year seminar and what I learned in my other classes, and also like connect what I learned in those classes between each other. So yeah, it's been really helpful, and gaining like a I guess like an interdisciplinary understanding of all these issues.
Okay. Curious, has they helped you with other courses that are the sciences courses, like in your English courses, or you know, the pathway courses?
Right. So definitely as part of during my first semester, I was also taking English 101. So in like the main theme of the entire class was environmental issues, but when it came to like consumption of like that comes from our diet. So we were talking about how certain production of certain things affects like either it's like production of like meats or other like things that we consume also generate pollution that affects our waterways. So that like I already had some understanding of that from my first year seminar class. And then I was also taking I also took environmental ethics later, and we were talking about different environmental issues, how like these are a problem in urban settings, and often like certain communities are like bear the brunt of like these issues and of the pollution that is caused by like bigger cities or like richer countries. So I mean, I already had examples of like of these issues from my first year seminar class, from things that we learned in other classes. So yeah, I mean, definitely in our classes I was able to apply this, and also how to like how to write a research paper, how to do research to get like the theoric part prepared for my research paper. So all these things also helped me, all the skills that I gained help me in my other assignments for non-STEM classes.
You also presented at the CUNY Conference in climate change education.
All right, yeah, that was recently.
Yeah, what made you sort of present at that conference? What why did you decide to present at that conference?
So I decided to present at this conference because, well, like the name, it says that the name was the CUNY Conference in climate change education. So the main topic was not only climate change, but also sustainability and environmental issues. So basically throughout my whole journey at LaGuardia, I was researching about environmental issues and how it affects our community. So I said, well, like if I can, if I can, like I have had experience with this, and like the things that I did during my first year seminar and throughout my whole career has helped me, like has inspired me to not only be a scientist, but also an activist. So this conference was like, how can climate change education help and inspire other people to be like faculty, the general public, or students. So well, I was a student that was inspired by this things that I learned to be an environmental activist. So me and my other colleagues for like the CRSP and NIH Bridges, we have been like doing this. So why not use our experience and let others know how important it is for like for this for climate change to be part of the curriculum, to make other students, like not only from an environmental science degree, my other colleagues were one of them wants to go into the medical field, and the other one had another career interest at first, but then he decided to change it to environmental science. So it's different perspectives, but all tie in the same spot, that knowing about these things through these assignments helped us become more aware and interested in like solving environmental justice issues. So yeah, I mean, if we could use our experience to let others know how important having climate change as part of the curriculum, what's going to be helpful, then we said like, why not? I think like this is a very important story that we can tell others, so that they understand that this is really important.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. I'm glad that I was able to sort of help you realize your potential. I mean, you had the potential already. I think you would have done it even without me. But I'm glad to hear that such scaffolded assignments, right, can help the students not only understand what goes on in the environment, but it also provides them with the tools required to be a science student, right? And this is very important, not only for our students but also for retention, right? And which is a big issue in lately, right, due to the pandemic. Yeah, so thank you so much, Veronica.
Thank you, Dr. Veras.